In the first week of April, my husband, my youngest kid and I left our home in Cornwall and made our way to Gatwick Airport, where we stayed overnight before catching a flight to Doha, Qatar. I took all my art stuff with me, and this is the flight over Europe. Flying into Doha as the sun was setting was a beautiful experience. Six of the 8 of us going on this adventure met up at Doha and went out for an evening meal. Not all of the group had met each other before this, but each had responded to a post that my husband put on Facebook saying, "Did anyone want to go to Everest Base Camp?" We then wandered down to the waterfront and got to experience some of the Ramadan lights. This area is just an underpass on the way to the waterfront, and it had an incredible atmosphere.
I think there's going to be fewer LED lights.
All in all, Doha was a wonderful place to spend a few hours. We then met up with the rest of our party before flying to Kathmandu, where we were greeted by our guide, Raj, and driven to our hotel. We stayed in the busy area of Tamil and got the hotel guard to teach us some Nepalese once we arrived.
No, was good morning. Good morning, Subabihani.
At this time of year, you can't get flights from Kathmandu to Lukla, so we got up at 2 a.m. and got a minibus for a 4-hour drive through the mountains to Ramechhap Airport. This is us stopping off just before dawn to quickly stretch our legs. We saw sunrise while standing on our first suspension bridge. There were some fun roads with steep drops on our way to Ramechhap Airport.
Do you know when we go?
Now,
Yeah,
7:30.
7:30. All right. Okay.
It will take just 15 minutes. So yes, but it will delay 1 minute.
Ramechhap Airport's hilarious, with an interesting sense of security. This is the gate to the main runway with the goat pen next to it. And this is baggage check-in area. This is an airport firefighter who I got chatting to and comparing notes with on our firefighting experience. We couldn't make head or tail of the system for who flew next out of the airport, and we ended up being delayed for about 8 hours. I got my painting stuff out again. We ended up going to a cafe across the road from the airport and were interrupted mid-meal by the airport staff running in and telling us to quickly get over to the runway because our plane was leaving. So a few minutes after this video was taken, we were legging it back through the airport. Nobody stopped us for security or anything, and just jumped straight on our plane.
I don't know. I don't. At this point, if it was, it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't much.
We were just so relieved to be able to fly on the same day still. It's about a 12-minute flight to Lukla Airport, which has been described by some as the world's most dangerous airport. It's got an extremely short runway, and I was both excited and nervous to be landing on it.
Oh, it's the right bridge. Where is it?
So this was the entire landing strip that we came in on. We then had several kilometres to walk before getting to our hotel for the night. I was about to enter Sagarmatha National Park. It's at least a 3-day trek to the nearest road from here, and everything is carried around this region by donkeys, yaks or people on paths very much like this.
Be careful with your gadget, okay?
Yeah. We reached the tea house where we were staying that night long after dark, and it wasn't till morning when we saw the amazing view from the tea house. Today we hiked about 10 kilometres from Pakding to Namche Bazaar, with an overall elevation gain of about 1,000 metres.
I'm just filming this.
We had fine weather and it was an incredibly beautiful hike. I loved crossing the bridges. We went over the top one you can see in this photo. We also crossed with a load of donkeys. After finally getting to the top of what's fondly known as Namche Hill, we got our first views of Namche Bazaar. The tea room bedroom I stayed in. It was Easter Sunday the next day. This is me enjoying some Cadbury's chocolates in my unheated room. Later we hiked up to the Hotel Everest View at just below 4,000 metres. It's been listed in the World Book of Records as the highest hotel.
Well, the good news is we've done half a mile. Really? Mine's got 0.3.
This is just the start of the trek to the hotel, looking back over Namche Bazaar. The climbing is pretty hard work and you can tell there's less oxygen in the air. Obviously we had to stop and do some yoga on the way and were joined by some random strangers. This is the 8 of us, plus our 2 guides, Kapil and Anand, with our first view of Everest in the background. My husband and his friend Andy on the final steps up to the hotel. From the hotel you have amazing 360-degree views of the Himalayas, but we spent ages trying to figure out which one was even Everest.
We can't even see the top at the moment.
It's that one, because of perspective. Yeah.
You can't see it at the moment. Just behind the clouds.
No, it's the one on the left-hand side, I think.
No.
The smaller one.
Is it?
It's not sharp. It's a bit.
You mean the pointy white one?
That pointy white one that's now...
We got used to seeing helicopters, as they're the only kind of motorised transport in the region. We set aside one evening in the hotel to celebrate my husband's 50th birthday, which had been the month before. We'd originally planned to do this trip 2 years ago to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary, but COVID got in the way. So we celebrated 27 years in March too. And this is what I look like every morning, with my face hugely swollen from altitude sickness. And this is another of our group yoga sessions. On our second full day in Namche Bazaar, we did more hiking to acclimatise. Firstly we went to the Sherpa Museum, and then we went to the Sherpa Culture Museum, which are close to each other near Namche Bazaar. From the Sherpa Museum you have these incredible 360-degree views of the Himalayas, again being able to see Everest in the distance. A common sight, a helicopter carrying cargo below it. A traditional Sherpa house in the Sherpa Cultural Museum. Things changed a lot in the 1950s after Sir Edmund Hillary came with his expedition. After the museums, we hiked about 6k to the village of Thamo and back. We saw people carrying all sorts of building materials down from the helipad on the way. Before we reached Thamo, we stopped to play in a freezing cold stream for a bit.
Oh, thanks.
These primary coloured prayer flags are found all over Nepal. Me sitting happily on my rock. More enormous loads we saw being carried. Back in Namche Bazaar, we didn't really bat an eyelid anymore at seeing animals wandering around the streets. And here's Kurt, trying to get all of the prayer wheels spinning at the same time at the local stupa. Come on, Kat! Come on, come on, come on, come on! They're still going, they're still going, they're still going! So I'm sitting in the sun waiting for my new hotel room to be prepared, and I've just thought I'd sketch the view from where I am at the moment. This is my new hotel. The rest of my party have carried on now, which I'm half sad about and half happy to start exploring this place a bit more on my own. So today I've climbed up to a place called Sagarmatha Next in the hills above Namche Bazaar. And I thought I'd sit and have a go at painting the view. So I've just got all my stuff out. While I was painting, a Pakistani climber who's going to the top of Everest came and joined me for a while. I'm following his progress now on Facebook. And here is a typical toilet as you get further into the mountains. This one was in the recycling centre at Sagarmatha Next, behind where I was painting. I then carried on further up the hill to a yoga centre. I had tea with a lovely Indian couple before joining with a Brazilian group to do a yoga session. I ended up having dinner with the lovely chap who taught the yoga before heading back to Namche Bazaar. So here's a quick tour of my bedroom in Namche Bazaar. First of all, we have the bathroom, and I have a toilet, and I have a shower, but only ice cold water comes out of it. But a hook for my toiletry bag and a rail for my towel. So I'm not sure what else I need. There's this very exciting wall here. I've got water, bottled water, so that I can clean my teeth without drinking any tap water. And I've got my soap bar, which is used for shampoo, shower gel and washing the clothes. A coat rack, nice corner for my walking poles. And this is my bedroom security. And I put the padlock on the outside of my door when I go out. This is my PowerPoint. Which has got an extension cable. And I'm using one of my 3 different sockets, because you never know which one you're going to need. This is my duffel bag that the porters carry when we travel to anywhere new. This is the pile of clothes that I sleep in at night. Tracksuit bottoms and then 3 top layers. I've got a fleece, a jumper and a t-shirt. And this is an awesome double bed. It's really comfy and I love all the layers. So I've got a fleece layer, a quilt, another fleece layer, and then I sleep on a fleece layer on top of a sheet. And I am warm enough in bed because it's 0 degrees at the moment, but there's no heating. And then I've got this cabinet which doesn't have any drawers or anything, but it's great for storing all my stuff on. So I've got a few tickets and things. I've got a mini duffel bag that I bought in Namche Bazaar, which I use as a toiletry bag or an art kit or something. A few toiletries. And then my little electronics bag. Some lights that don't work, but I've been using them as drying racks. And I've got these 3 lovely windows. And then outside my room, I've got the mountains. There's a sun patio down there that belongs to the hotel that I can sit in. And up here, where the windsock is, that's where a helipad is, so helicopters come and go frequently from there. So this is the area just outside my hotel. And these steps go down into the main part of the town. This is my hotel. Lots of steps. That one of the Nepalese dogs, which are just gorgeous. And today I'm going to go up to the monastery. Okay, so I've just been wandering uphill. I'm still so out of breath. I think from altitude. So I can see there's 2 hotels I've stayed in over there. So I just wandered up to here because I spotted inside this little kind of hut is the largest prayer wheel that I've seen. This is enormous. Beautiful decor. The prayer rooms in the Nepalese houses are the most ornate and colourful. So you have to spin the prayer wheels for so we'll move this one round until the bell chimes. I don't know if this... There we go. This is one of the main paths up through Namche Bazaar. So today I've hiked up high above the town. It's a bit more hazy today. I'm going to go a little bit further up and then have a go at painting. I had a lovely couple of hours perched on a ledge painting the valley. I met a lovely Dutch guy the day before at my hotel, and in the evening he invited me up to the Irish bar to meet his friends. Throughout the week that I was on my own in Namche Bazaar, I met some wonderful people and never had to dine alone for an evening meal. One of the guides of our group, Kapil, kept in regular contact with me as well. One day I set off along the trail to Everest Base Camp. I saw this Himalayan monal, which is the Nepalese national bird. I ended up walking a few kilometres along to the next village, Sanasa. On the way back I got caught out in a hailstorm. I received the great news that the rest of the party had reached Everest Base Camp. This was no mean feat. Everyone suffered from the effects of altitude to some extent, and I'm super proud of them. I made the decision to leave Namche Bazaar on my own ahead of the rest of the party so that I could take longer on the descent. On my last night, I went up high into the hills above Namche Bazaar and took photos. The next morning, I left Namche Bazaar and headed for Pakding, about 10 kilometres away. I hadn't booked a tea room, and it felt exhilarating to be on my own with no set agenda. Along the way, I got talking to a couple of porters and asked if I could feel the weight of their packs. They're insanely heavy and I have every admiration for them. I ended up walking about half of the way with some lovely Americans that I met. It turned out that they're members of the same church as me. My happiest time, though, was when I was completely by myself in this beautiful countryside. I got a room for myself in a tea house in Pakding, which turned out to be the same one we'd stayed in on the way. I just hadn't recognised it because it was dark when we'd arrived before. The next morning was beautiful again, and I carried on with the 8 kilometres from Pakding to Lukla. My hip was getting pretty tired by this point, so I was glad to arrive. A happy reunion with my gang in Lukla. The next morning we walked to Lukla airport, ready for our flight back to Ramechhap. We were only delayed by about 2 hours this time. The slope on this runway really makes me laugh. First our plane had to taxi back up the runway to gain as many metres as possible for the takeoff. All of this juddering isn't just my bad filming, but turbulence. We fly so close to some of the mountains. Safely back at Ramechhap Airport.
Harry, whose are those?
Oh, okay, someone.
Yours. And yours.
Not your standard baggage reclaim area. Then we had a 4.5-hour minibus ride back to Kathmandu.
I'm okay for right now. Thank you, though.
Is Scott brother good?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
If not good, tell me, okay?
Go there, I'll try one.
Oh, I thought they were like salt vinegar sticks. Are they killer?
Harry's vodka.
Try
Yes,
one.
please. Spicy cream Harry.
Yeah.
One now.
I'll try a couple.
Not that spicy.
We'll give it a sec.
You're a big horse like me, Lee.
You had some of these, Harry?
Oh,
I'm eating mint at the moment. so-
oh yeah, nice combo,
Yeah, don't
Harry.
mix those.
Fire.
Oh my gosh. What? Are they trying to overtake us?
Yeah, nice drive, buddy.
Thanks.
You know. Brother, you want to drive?
Thanks.
You want to drive? No.
But I don't believe you.
Big deal.
हो नत्र आउँदैन नि तपाईँको टुरै हो नि बढी तिनीहरू त्यस्तो मन पनि लाग्दैन रहेछ क्या मासतिर हिँड्न भनेर तिनीहरू त बरु 4 दिन बरु राम्रो ठाउँ जाने होइन मजाले उ गर्ने भन्ने हुँदो रहेछ क्या त्यसो हिँड्न गर्न भनेपछि अब मान्दैन रहेछ 350 जना त तपाईँको होइन यही दिन हिँडिरहेको अहिले अस्ति म जाने तपाईँको भेडाबाख्रा चराएको थियो
We stopped off at one point to look at the wall of mirrors that lined the road. The mirrors are offered up to a goddess as prayers to avoid accidents. There are plenty of sections of unmade road, and apparently not many road laws. Up ahead, we see a car in trouble.
Oh dear. Car looks a bit poorly.
All the back wheels is pretty much off the ground.
Oh my god.
Should we get out?
Should we help? I was going to say, should we go and help push?
Just gonna help him after we get out. Yeah, we can make that.
Shall we do it?
Yeah. I want to.
Okay, we help. We're gonna help with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just working out the best plan.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Stopping off a bit later for a snack.
You will decide, okay? If you will let me know, then I will.
You just want to go straight to the hotel we have there.
Andy, they have cheese balls. It's been ages since I've eaten chips.
Crisps.
Crisps.
I think that's the first pack I've had in a long time. the wines.
There's such a contrast between the mountains and the city.
From the hotel to where we're going tomorrow.
Why?
One of these kind of truck things.
What's happening tomorrow? Because I don't really plan on leaving any building we get into.
I think we're going to see some ancient temples. I found them.
What the heck?
Hotel Buddha
Dad,
Yeah.
you know the school we saw?
Blue t-shirt.
Yeah, just run past them.
Isn't this our street?
Yeah, this is.
Scott, you've not booked into the same hotel, have you?
We're going to the Hotel Buddha. There's a number later on the web. Got a threat attack, come home wherever. Yeah, series a cigar or something. Stay away from my food.
Lunch in the courtyard of our new hotel. Going out for an evening meal in Kathmandu.
Didn't know that. It's not my woman doesn't do it. Oh. Did you research it?
On our way by bike rickshaw to the Swayambhunath temple, also known as the Monkey Temple, the next morning.
Love it.
What the heck? Look at these riots. Oh, hi.
Awesome. What could possibly go wrong?
There's like proper gaps in that bridge all the way down to the river.
Really?
Yeah. I think there might be a hill.
Oh no, should we get out?
On the hills, we jumped out and pushed. At Swayambhunath Temple, it's no surprise to find that there are many, many steps. The workmanship in every corner of this place is exquisite. It's a site that's holy for both Hindus and Buddhists. At the centre is a large stupa, or burial mound, usually housing sacred relics. We got to see why this is also known as the Monkey Temple. At one point, a large group from India all wanted to have photos and selfies taken with me. I'm not sure why, but it was pretty funny, and they were absolutely lovely. We were then highly entertained by some guys trying to get all the coins out of a pool, while people kept throwing more in. So many prayer flags. Climbing up so many steps did afford us an incredible view of the city. I had no idea that Kathmandu stretched so far.
Hi, little ones. Woo.
Luckily, we'd chosen to sit under cover at lunch. After lunch, we got a taxi across town to one destination, but our driver suggested that we stop off somewhere else first. We didn't really know where we were.
This is TV.
Water market section.
Yeah.
What's $5?
Look at the front edge of it. Come this way. See how many bikes there are. Cool. Make it stop.
What the heck?
Police, my friend. No horns.
Mad. But they will understand it. There's no traffic lights, but they're all just fit in where you can.
The taxi driver set us all down here and drove off, and thankfully we found out why. We had come to the Boudhanath, or Buddha Stupa, one of the largest spherical stupas in all of Nepal. Everybody walks around it clockwise, in the same way that the prayer wheels are turned clockwise. It's an incredible place.
They're smaller.
They just all look exactly the same.
I know.
Yeah, that's the reason it's bad.
We then carried on to our destination, the Pashupatinath Temple, one of the most sacred Hindu temples in the world. The site includes over 500 temples and monuments. Pashupatinath is also the site of the most used cremation spot in all of Kathmandu. We found a spot high up overlooking Pashupatinath and realised we had the privilege of watching an actual cremation ceremony. We watched the funeral pyre being built and the body being placed on it and set alight. This was all part of the funeral ceremony. For us, it was a solemn and fascinating experience. Further down the river, we could see the fires of 2 more funeral pyres. What a last night in Nepal. We had one last morning in Nepal before heading home, and we walked across the city to the Garden of Dreams. This is our last group photo of all 8 of us, before 6 headed back to the UK via Doha and 2 went back to America. In spite of being such a physically demanding experience, I'd fallen in love with Nepal and didn't really want to go back home. It's a beautiful country, full of contrasts, and I'm incredibly grateful that I got to experience some of it.